FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
Well, I'm glad you brought up science again because, Michael Beard is, of course, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist, and Henry Brown in Saturday is a surgeon, and you seem unusually among writers to take an interest in the other half of the brain. I mean, I guess famously C.P. Snow wrote The Two Cultures. Do you think that the liberal arts, the humanities and the sciences are farther apart or closer together than they were when he wrote that in, 1960? And is that a good thing or not so good?
I don't know. I think science has forced its way into our consideration, our public policy and so on. But I think the division still exists. And as I get older, I can't help feeling that the whole edifice of the liberal humanities is built on a monstrous fraud. When I think of, I taught a few days at Caltech a few years ago. Incredibly bright students, some of the brightest kids I've ever met.
Taught what? Taught what?
Well, I'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
Not much, it seemed. It was not much they didn't know. But what impressed me was that these kids doing maths or physics degrees, just in their spare time to keep themselves amused, were taking literature degrees as well. And I felt a sort of blush of shame when I think that, I bet a lot of people here, if they've got a degree at a college, probably got out of bed at midday every day, occasional panic about a term paper, attended a few lectures, and if you're halfway intelligent, you can come away with a good degree. Now, it's very hard in the sciences, and you try it. I mean, they have to be up at 8:30 in the morning, 5 lectures a day. This is how it works in Britain. I'm sure it's the same here. They have to get their minds around some of the most difficult things. And that's why I have this little aside about the sciences. Because many of the scientists I've met have read all the novels I've read, have been to the opera, know the partitas of Bach. They know our stuff, but we don't know their stuff. And I do feel a little flush of intellectual embarrassment about this. And maybe we need to be a little tougher. It's fine for me to say this now, I'm not going back to college, but maybe we need to be a little more demanding, and that all humanities degrees should contain a little embrace of the difficulty of just getting a mind around something relatively simple like the calculus, which actually is really quite tough, and it's an amazing invention. You think, a guy in a wig in the 18th century thought this up, of how you could describe the changing state of something. Amazing. But I don't think we ever have to confront anything very difficult. I mean, what's the most difficult thing in literature? Maybe Shakespeare's sonnets. But, it's not as difficult as getting your mind around general theory of Einstein. So, I just think that perhaps the invention of the Cambridge tripos, or whatever it is that set the whole thing going, has, to go to university for 3 years and read novels. I'm sure in the early 19th century, people would have thought, that's a ludicrous waste of time and energy. When you could be reading novels and, you should be reading them anyway.